He's the quarterback of my Vikings. And I had Fritzy call up the Vikings on Friday and say, after the Vikings beat the Packers, see if Kirk Cousins would like to join us on the program. And I don't know if that was motivation for you, Kirk, but congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much. Sounds like we got you the win too, so that's good. But happy to be on. Always good to see your face. It was over a decade ago I first came on the show as a college athlete and sang and everything. And so it's good as all these years have gone by. I'm still talking to you.
Well, I go back to that. Do you think Friday? Like, wasn't that Big Ten title weekend versus Russell Wilson?
Yeah, it was after either the Hail Mary game when we played Wisconsin and Russell Wilson, or one of those close games. But
wow.
Yeah, and my singing days are over. I'm retired now.
But you look back on that, and Russ wasn't a first-round draft pick. You certainly weren't. But here you are, surviving, I guess. But maybe you don't view it as surviving, but it just seems like the critics are never going to be happy enough with what you do, right? Do you get that feeling?
I think being a first-round pick really does help when it comes to people kind of being in your corner for most of your career. You're supposed to have success. It just kind of comes with the draft. And I think the draft does follow you a little bit for your career, and that's okay. But no, in that draft, Nick Foles, the Super Bowl MVP, was a third-round pick as well. So there were a few guys there that that have carved out long careers in that draft class. I'm proud to be a part of those quarterbacks.
Take me into the huddle when Justin Jefferson seemed to be single covered the entire afternoon. Like, what are you thinking as the game goes on, and what kind of conversations did you have with Justin?
Yeah, every week we kind of have this dialogue with the coaches and with Justin of, we need to see early in the game how they're defending you. Everybody's going to have a plan, and then we have to have a plan to counter it. And I do think Green Bay had a plan. They had a good plan. They were aware of where he was. They were going to have a safety help over top of him. But we were just still trying to find creative ways. When I say we, mostly the coaches, just finding creative ways to still get him involved and get him the ball. And if we did get single hire, we did get that one-on-one, that we don't miss those opportunities. And then to Justin's credit, just making great plays and having a big catch radius. And even when there's somewhat tight coverage, being able to still make the play.
Well, that's a luxury, though, as a quarterback. If that's your bailout, like, you just kind of put it in the area and it feels like he's going to go get it.
Yeah, well said. When the ball goes up, you expect him to go get it. And I pride myself on being an accurate quarterback. I think that's one of the reasons I'm still playing football. But I don't have to be quite as accurate with him. If I miss by a foot here or there, he tends to make up the difference, which I appreciate.
How was it having a brand new head coach, a rookie head coach, and Kevin, going out? How nervous was he? Was he more nervous than you?
He projected pretty calm demeanor, going into the game and Saturday night as he talked to the team. He was his usual self. I think that for me, I was a little bit, whatever you want to call it, nerves. I mean, the combination of week one brings nerves. And then the fact that we didn't play in the preseason, most of our starters didn't really get to go. So with a new coach and not having done the dress rehearsal quite the same way as we have in the past, I was a little bit more uneasy than as if we had a bunch of preseason work together. But it was great to go out there on the very first drive and score a touchdown and feel like, okay, I guess the cobwebs weren't there too badly and we were ready to go.
You want more preseason action or less as a starter?
I think it's this risk reward thing. I mean, there was a reason we didn't play. I just think it was, hey, we want everybody healthy week one. Last year we played at Kansas City in preseason game 3, and we lost our tight end Irv Smith for the entire season with a knee injury. So there's a realization that when you play in the preseason, there's a chance something can go wrong. There's also benefit to getting out there and playing with live bullets. Wearing a red jersey in practice really doesn't simulate the real thing. But these joint practices where we practiced against San Francisco leading into our preseason game against them have in some ways started to replace preseason games, and coaches are trying to use those practice days as high-intensity days that can simulate the real thing.
Aaron Rodgers had thrown 38 touchdowns without an interception against the NFC North before being picked off by Harrison Smith in week 1. What do you see when you watch Aaron Rodgers play?
Just tremendous respect for his game.
Do you watch on the sidelines?
Well, I watched less yesterday than I probably normally would or normally do for whatever reason. But he's tremendous, and the game's never over with him. We were up by 16, and with 1 minute left, we wanted to stay in bounds to keep the clock running, and we ended up running out of bounds and stopped the clock with about 1:07 left. And I said, I believe that number 12 could go down, get a touchdown, 2-point conversion, onside kick, touchdown, 2-point conversion, and we're going to overtime with only 1:07 left. I believe that can happen, and so I really wasn't sitting easy until the clock hit 0.
Yeah, but I think you have to have that mentality because you just don't go, yeah, they can't do that. And it's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there are a couple of quarterbacks where you just can't go, yeah, that's not possible. And I think that's a good mindset. We're talking to Kirk Cousins, Vikings quarterback, 2 touchdowns in week 1, no turnovers, by the way, more importantly. The Vikings go to Philadelphia next week. That'll be spicy. All right, we're trying to come up with a bet on the yellow plaid shirt you had on yesterday after the game. All right, so we want to guess the brand of the yellow plaid shirt that Kirk Cousins had on. Yes, Pauline.
I know Kirk's wardrobe and style pretty well. I've been tracking it for years.
Okay.
He's a sensible shopper.
Yes,
but,
he is.
He got the big contract. I'm going to go Patagonia. Lovely shirt.
Patagonia, okay. Fritzy?
I'm going to go Hollister.
Hollister.
Okay.
Seton?
I'm going to go LL Bean.
All right. Marv?
I'm going to go Eddie Bauer.
That's a good guess.
I'm going to go REI. All right. And
I wish it was LL Bean or Eddie Bauer. Maybe that fits my brand a little more. But my wife dresses me, by the way. And it happened to be Patagonia, and
Wow, nailed it.
Sitting around the house yesterday about 11:30 before heading to the stadium, and I said, because I do nothing in fashion, I make no decisions. So I looked at my wife and I said, have you laid my outfit out on the bed to wear to the game? And she said, no, I got to go do that. So I finished my lunch and then went up there, and sure enough, that shirt and a pair of pants and a pair of socks and a pair of shoes was sitting right there on the bed next to the bed. And I put it on and got in the car and headed to the stadium. So I just do what she tells me. There have been a few moments where I shake my head. I say, there's no way I should wear this. No way. And she says, wear it. And then Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson and KJ Osborne will look at me and say, you look good yesterday. You did a good job. So I stopped trying to speak into it a long time ago. I just do what she tells me.
And don't mess with the wife, when she plans, But I can see it. Does she put the pants on the bed and the shirt on the bed and then the shoes and the socks right underneath the pants?
Yep, and then the belt is also there. And believe me, I've learned from my teammates and their fits that the wrong belt can screw up the whole thing. So everything's got to be thought through. And away games, we tend to bring a little bit more, suit and tie kind of a look. But home games, a little more dressed down. But it's fun. I don't want to be involved in making those decisions, but it's fun to have something. And I love, more importantly, watching what my teammates wear because you get some crazy outfits.
Okay, who walks in and you go, oh, my God?
So Olabisi Johnson was last couple of years, his fits were just getting more and more out there. And then Stephon Diggs was always really, really interesting, really creative with what he would bring. Justin's starting to now rock the chains, and he's got the grills now that you put in. So, it's getting out there. It's fun. It's entertaining for me.
Would you ever do something like that?
Well, I thought about doing the Ryan Fitzpatrick when he grabbed Deshaun Jackson's outfit and went to the post-game press conference with it on. That would fit me, but Ryan kind of beat me to it. So, but the fashion thing is a lot of fun.
Well, congrats. Hey, as long as you keep beating the Packers, doesn't matter what you wear.
No, we've had some good battles against them. Beat them, lost to them, tied to them. It goes back and forth, and the key is, they've won the division the last few years, and that's really where we want to be is winning the North and hosting a home playoff game. So that's where we want to be at the end of this thing. What
happens at the end of the game when the quarterbacks get together? Like, is anything really meaningful in those conversations?
I think it comes down a little bit to how much you know the other quarterback, Nick Foles and I were college teammates for a year. So if I see him after a game, it's going to be a little different conversation than, a guy who's 10 years older than me. And so with Aaron, it's usually just shake his hand. He says, have a good season, stay healthy. And I usually remind him he's probably the best in the world. And then I go my separate way. But
is he the best quarterback?
I mean, it's kind of that conversation of like, they're all great at the top, but I think the body of work and the 2 MVPs last year, and until he's proven otherwise, I think in my book, he's doing it as well as anybody's, and the elite level he plays at week in and week out, protecting the football and all that. I think he's pretty special.
What do you say to Brady after a game?
Well, usually, the 3 times I've played him, I've been on the losing end. So just shake his hand and head to the locker room. But, one game, I don't know if he was upset with how he played. They won. I don't know if he was upset with how he played or whatever, but he just took off to the locker room. I think he's just so competitive sometimes. He doesn't feel like saying hello to too many people. But, another guy who, when he was winning his first Super Bowl, I was in middle school, and now I'm in my 11th year in the league. I'm one of the oldest guys in our locker room, and he's still playing. So it just goes to show the longevity of some of these quarterbacks.
Tell your wife, good game, because I mean, it's a team
We'll see
effort
what she
here.
brings next Monday night.
Yes. Whoa. Hey, great to talk to you again. Congrats. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Good seeing you.
That's Kirk Cousins, Vikings quarterback.